Good afternoon. This afternoon, it's my pleasure to introduce Kendra Marderosian, who is one of our strategic partners here at NASBAR. This afternoon, I've asked her to talk about why should your house, or if you should your house, be put in trust. Kendra?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and it's a question I get asked a lot. I am not only a real estate attorney, but I also do some estate planning, and the two of them mesh very well together because I'm able to give some real life examples to people when they're considering estate plan documents as to what might be best for their family. So the benefit of putting a house into trust is that the family, whoever is left behind after someone passes away, here, the owner of the house, does not have to go through a probate court proceeding in order to sell the house. So in Illinois, there is this $100,000 threshold. If you as an individual own less than $100,000 at the time of your death, you are able to avoid a probate court proceeding in order to disperse your assets. The key there is $100,000 owned by the individual versus assets owned by the trust. When you put a trust into place as part of an estate plan, our goal is to transfer assets into the trust. When you transfer an asset from yourself into a trust, even though you are the trustee, you are the beneficiary, you are the one who still controls the asset, the legal owner becomes the trust, not you, the individual. So if the individual passes away, when we're looking at that $100,000 threshold, it's the trust's asset. If you transfer the asset to the trust, it's the trust's asset, not the individual's, and it's very easy for the individual to go below that $100,000 threshold. So at that point, the house could just be sold by the successor trustee. There's no need to go to probate court. The will, everybody's will, if they have a will, has to be filed with the county. The family would take care of that. They would have to obtain a death certificate, and then they proceed to sell the house as a successor trustee rather than as an executor or an administrator of an estate. That benefits everyone in terms of time. Probate court is not always the end of the world, but sometimes it can take a long time. Sometimes it doesn't take too long. And there's also expense involved. So when you think about time and you think about selling a house, you're also thinking about the expense of carrying that house during that time. So if you have a situation where there were not a lot of assets, the family does not have a lot of extra assets, and you're looking about having to hold your parents' home for multiple months, month after month, and pay those carrying costs, you could run into a problem. If there's still a mortgage, the mortgage has to continue to be paid, the utilities have to continue to be paid, and you can't sell the house until you have the proper paperwork in place from probate court. A trust avoids all of that lengthy delay and can be very beneficial in terms of saving the family from additional expenses of carrying costs. And it's also, from more of an emotional standpoint, they are able to move forward more quickly and disperse the assets a little bit faster without the stress of court, which is stressful for some people, and just continue on and move forward with things.
Kendra, thank you. That's another great piece of information.